Good morning, and I'm sorry for being late. So, I'm SYLVIA Mutai, as you said. We as students, we're not happy with the new funding model. We've been all over, rejecting the funding model. And our grievances were, we need to check, what is in the funding model. We need also to examine how good is it to students. Because we've been seeing how discriminating the funding model was. You find a student was to be placed in band 1, got himself or herself in band 5 or 4 or even 3, and still, considering how the economy is, how we are, our backgrounds, and the MTI. The MTI means testing instrument is not working. Because how are we going to determine what family earns what? Yes, we're not that equipped to that point of having that done.
Okay.
We also agitating, for, the percentage in which the funding model will, how can I place this? For example, if you are placed in band 4 and someone was blessed in band 5 or 3, you can tell the percentage the government pays for someone in band 4 and someone in band 3 are two different things. The course you're doing, it will determine if you're doing nursing or medicine rather, and someone is doing education, it will still vary. And it's a new, and it's actually a discriminating factor. We would want to have education as equalizing as we used to think it was. Okay, for me, who feel that? And what time? When were we supposed to feel that? I was taking part in the admission of first-year students. And you can tell they were really desperate because now they have to pay for the school fees. The amount is high. They don't even know how they got themselves in band 4 and 5. And my question was, how are we going to tell who comes from what background? What time were we supposed to fill that form?
Did you ever fill that form?
Not really. I'm actually with Madzao.
Okay.
Rocha. I'm paying 26,000 in a year, and also 6,000 for accommodation, which is 42 right now, and still I'm seeing it going high and high. Right here, we are lying to ourselves, literally, because when you are telling us the MTI it's a work in progress, it's not actually working, because when were we supposed to feel that? How prepared was the government before coming up with the funding model? This is something they must have, introduced during our time and start educating people, getting to know us as the student leaders, having conversation. Because they were just, we are coming up with it with no base, with no preparation. And it's not working. Okay. Unless there's a way out, you can convince us right here. But I was in the admission, and I saw the desperation students had, and there was no papers filled. And if it was filled, we don't have the capacity here in Kenya right now to tell or to have data. I'm from Baringo County. You can tell my parent and other millions of parents, they don't have even jobs. They don't have their data in the government. You can have some, I have some teacher, my friend, he's a headmaster in some primary school, and the student got placed in band 1, and he's a teacher, and he's working for the government, and the data is there, Then they were to look at the mwalimu, because that's available. Tell us about our parents. Tell us about how prepared these people were. Tell us about how are we going back to it. Now that we just introduced it out of nowhere, how are we going back again and start it over? How are we going to tell people how should we be working? Yes, how are we going to have all this data on?
So your concern is there are already people who've been placed as we speak. So how?
Yeah, sure. My colleague, with respect, yes, he's saying there were forms to be filled, and people just found themselves in some bands.
And that's exactly what he's saying, that they did not take the initiative to go and fill it out
and my question is, when was that to happen? Literally, for me right now, I would just want us to put away with the funding model.
Do away with it completely?
Yes.
Go back to the old system?
Yes, DOC was working and we had no problems with it.
Okay.
And you can tell that time someone was paying a very little amount of money as compared to right now. And why should we tell someone, because you're coming from some family, you should be paying this amount? Let's go back to the DOC model. And if not, you know, as Mheshimiwa here is saying, if you can allow me to say that, if there's a way they can talk of the MTI, the government is not prepared. They are not even once. They are not. Because we can't just, all of a sudden we are coming up with something that we've not invested and try to check what is in that thing. My other recommendation is for students. Right now, unless he proves to us that most students are placed in band 1 and 2. Otherwise, because most of them are in band 4 and 5. If it means funding the universities, if it means benefiting the universities, what are we getting as students? The university is the students. They should also come and discuss with us as the students. Tell us, we are coming up with this because we are having challenges of this and that. And this is how we are going to do. This is how we are going to have some dialogue and conversation. Because they are just coming up with it. Next day we go to, on streets. Yeah. Tomorrow we come back. They don't listen. It's not a listening government, he's saying.
Okay.
They're not listening. So unless there's, I'm agitating. I mean, we do away with the funding model. We go back to the DUC. And if not, we review the MTI. Yes. Okay. We listen to students. We try and understand. All these committees which are being formed, they actually, I don't know, I'm sorry to say that, I don't think it's working that much. This particular committee is actually made up of students. I know, yes, I understand. But I thank God it was nullified anyway. So, and I'm proud of that. So we really need to come to ground, because having some student leaders, few of them, others have their own interest. Someone like me, I'm also in the DUC model. So I might not care about the funding model, and someone who is in first year or second year. So we really need to do a lot of things with it. But first of all, if they can do away without the funding model, let's come back to ground. Let's analyze. Let's see what we can do with it, because literally it's not working. Okay. It's not working, and I'm not apologetic for that. For me, I would want to say, the way our CEO is nice today, he is nice because he is in camera. Please listen to us out there. Is he ever nice to you guys in person? Please I've never listen. Seen him in person. I know, that's why. You've never seen him? Yes. Okay. Please continue being this nice. Okay. Kuja ground, ongea na wanafunzi. Another thing is, please, if there's a way you guys can do, review the MTI. That is all I'm talking about. And please reconsider. As Madzao said, band 5 and 4, please review that. Let's do this for the best of the students, for the best of someone who is desperate for some good future. Because literally you are trying to kill the dreams of students. So please, let's talk about this. Let's see what we can do. Let's take care of the students. Let's not give birth to a desperate generation again. We are too desperate to be desperate anymore. Okay. So, thank you.